Hello, my name is Darren Hutchinson of Quintec Fire Services. I'm a training officer for PyroLance. Today we're at the PyroLance plant to go through the safety and the operation procedures for the units. This unit here that we have is the combination unit. We really recommend, prior to the use of any of the units, to look at the front safety instructions and the operating instructions for the unit. This unit has wireless operations as well as redundant manual operations that can be done at the pump panel. Before we go on any farther, what I want to do is we'll open up the unit and I'm going to show you how to do the pre-start inspection. First of all, we want to look and make sure that there is no leaks or any loose connections at the unit. We want to check the oil in the engine. The oil in the pump has both a dipstick and a sight glass on the back. Fuel tank is on the top of the back. Make sure that you use unleaded fuel and ethanol-free fuel. Make sure it's full. There's a water filter on the right-hand side that you need to just open up, inspect, and make sure that it's working, all in clean working order. Now we're ready to inspect the back of the unit to make sure that the water valve is turned on from the tank. Make sure your tank is full of water prior to starting as well. We want to make sure we have a good inspection of the belt that drives the unit. To access the inspection port, you need a number 2 Phillips screwdriver. Take off one screw, loosen off the other screw, slide back the inspection cover, and have a good look for wear and tear, any foreign objects in the belt area. Be very careful to make sure you keep the screw from going into the inspection port. It's a long process to get the screw out of there. Once you're done, put the port cover back on, tighten the screws snug, and you're good to go. Now we want to look at the abrasive vessel. There's a 2 1/8 inch wrench that's applied to open up the vessel. Once you've opened up the vessel, you should see water in the vessel. We're going to add the PyroShot abrasive to the vessel, and as we're adding it, you'll see water being displaced in the vessel that holds 2.5 gallons of abrasive. This is normal to see the water coming out of the vessel. Now we see the abrasive has lifted up past the water. We're just going to tap the wrench into the abrasive, in through the water, to get the vessel filled as much as we can with abrasive. And we'll just top it up. Our goal with this is we want to have the abrasive below the thread level, and we'll clean off all the extra abrasive that's in the threads prior to putting the nut back on. Now we're ready to put the cap back on. We want to make sure that you line the threads up, hand tighten first, and finish off with the wrench. You want the threads to be snug but not hammered tight. Before throttling up, always ensure the abrasive cap is on snug. Now we're going to go inspect the hose. With the hose inspection, we want to start off with the coupling. Make sure there's no visible cracks, wear and tear on the coupling. Move from the coupling and onto the hose. And you're checking for cracks, abrasions, any type of wear that will affect once we're running the system under pressure. Prior to starting the unit up, we want to make sure that the hose lock lever is locked and the reel won't come out anymore. Now you're ready to hook up the nozzles now. This unit is the Pyro Blitz, combination fog straight stream. This is not a piercing nozzle. You can flow foam through this. This also has a wireless control on it. Antenna goes up, pull the trigger. You can see the light comes on, shows that the transmitter is working. Also, if you look on the handle here, we do have a safety lever that can go down. It's very important that you put the safety lever down when you're not using the unit. Very easy to put the safety lever back up and you're ready to go. Let's connect it. Take our quick connector. The female end has a safety tab on it. Pull the coupler back, connect it, spin it, it's locked, and we're good to go. This is our PyroLance nozzle, our piercing nozzle. This is the nozzle that will introduce the aggregate into the water stream that will pierce through our objects that we need to get through. As with the PyroBlitz, it is a wireless operation. It also has adjustable handle for comfort. The stock also adjusts as well, that fits different size people. Make sure that you adjust it prior to using. We lift up the antenna, pull the trigger, light comes on, the transmitter works. When we want to turn the aggregate on, there's a little switch up front. Turn the switch on, pull the lever. You can hear the actuators go on. Also a red light comes on here. If we put the nozzle down without turning the aggregate switch off, this light will remain on. The light's on, switch goes off, we're good to go. If you're wondering why the lance looks like a weapon, that was specifically designed that way, to remind you to maintain proper muzzle discipline. The tip end of the PyroLance is just like a weapon. Instead of a bullet coming out, we're going to have high pressure aggregate coming out that can injure somebody just as a bullet. Let's talk about maintenance and care now. It's really important that you use the specific manual for the unit that you've purchased. It's shipped with the unit. If you don't have it or you've lost it, you can get it on the website or in this DVD under the maintenance and care section. Items under the maintenance and care sections will cover your maintenance schedule, extreme weather condition use, winter and desert conditions, as well as replacement parts. Now we've gone through the pre-operation inspection of the unit, let's go outside and start up and use it.
Ready? This is Bill Ballantyne with the PyroLance Hole-in-the-Wall gang, beautiful Fort Collins, Colorado. What we're doing is simulating a compartment burn. We're using a container. This could be a structure fire in an apartment or a home, could be a warehouse, could be a building, could be a bulkhead in a ship, could be an aircraft. What we're doing is we're making an attack from the outside using our PyroLance piercing nozzle, going through 1/4 inch hard steel and a 1 inch hard stress concrete barrier. Temperature on the inside about 1400 degrees. We've already penetrated, shooting ultra high mist at 10 gallons per minute into the seat of the fire. The temperature has dropped on the inside now from about 1400 degrees to 200. He's cooled down the thermal barrier, going to his blitz attack line now, opening the door and finishing up with the overhaul of the fire on the interior side. Temperature is about 46 degrees on the outside, relative humidity 50 degrees. We've got a 12-mile-an-hour wind out of the south-southeast. Relative humidity is 50%. Now we're making the overall attack with a 20 gallon per minute ultra-high pressure PyroLance blitz line. One of the benefits of this type of attack is we do not stress firefighters or expose them to the danger by going inside, risking a flashover, risking the exposure to the heat, injecting oxygen into the seat of the fire, or for that matter, risking a collapse or falling through a floor to a lower level. We can make that attack from the outside. Similarly, if there were an attic fire, we could make the attack from the safety of a bucket or from a ladder, or even from the ground for that matter, without risking falling through the roof or a collapse. Captain Darren Hutchinson, an instructor, made the piercing attack as well as the blitz overhaul. Captain Hutchinson, temperature in there was in excess of 1500 degrees when you made the attack. When you went in with the blitz attack line, what do you estimate the temperature was?
Oh, by the time I went in with the blitz, we're somewhere around maybe 250 at the most Fahrenheit. And the great thing for me is to be able to do that offensive attack from a defensive position, minimal water, minimal exposure to the firefighter. We can get in and really take care of it quick.
As we mentioned earlier, the Lance piercing nozzle was flowing at 10 gallons per minute. When we switched over to the Blitz attack line, we were flowing at 20 gallons per minute. What's the benefits from the water damage using ultra high pressure?
The benefits are that we can go in and knock the fire down, put the fire out with minimal amount of water, which means minimal water damage, which really helps out if needs to be a fire investigation, for insurance purposes, all the way around, and for the crews. If you're at a busy firehouse, you're able to get back into service really quick without having to spend hours and hours taking the regular route of overhaul, the big overhaul, big use of water.
Now, the other thing that's important to note, I think, is that, you know, we're using a container here, but if this were a structure fire, what would be some of the risks that you and the firefighting crew would be exposed to in going into a structure fire, say, or a warehouse fire, or any type of a structure fire? What are the risks inherent to your crew that you avoid by being able to stay on the outside?
Well, Bill, the risks that we're able to avoid is that we don't know what's inside of a house or your regular run-of-the-mill fire call that the crew is going to have to respond to. Here, we knew what we put into the fire. So for us to get into a house with high pressure, to use minimal amount of water, we can knock the fire down quick. Also with new house construction materials, the probability of full-on collapse, we're talking minutes instead of tens of minutes. That's a big difference for us because we're not always 2 or 3 minutes away from the fire. So we're able to get in quick, knock it down quick, and go in and take care of business and make sure it's out without doing a lot of damage.
You know, the one thing that I'm struck with watching you make this attack is that for smaller fire departments, particularly volunteer fire departments, and, you know, on the first due engine in, you may not have a crew of 4. You can't do 2 in and 2 out. What are the benefits of that to a smaller department?
Well, if you're in a small department and you're running a crew, fire call in the middle of the day, you're running a minimum crews on the engine, you're able to get in, you can actually knock the fire down from a defensive position, do an offensive attack. That's phenomenal. By the time the second engine's in there, you're ready to go and make entrance into the building and take care of the residuals without having to worry about that 2 out, 2 in. Takes away the risk of the backdraft and the flashover because we're outside, knock the heat down, knock the fire down, and we're also going to avoid the probability of putting guys into a situation where there's a good chance for collapse with this new construction.
Captain Hutchinson, that's a great point. Another point is I'm thinking of for the benefits to a municipal department where they're running maybe 15, 20 calls a shift. What does the inch or the 3/4 inch line do for you with the minimal water usage benefits of ultra high pressure?
Well, if you're running a busy engine company or even ladder company, you're able to get in with that 3/4 inch line. It's so much easier on the firefighter. You're not hauling around an 1 3/4 inch line or an 1.5 inch attack line with all that extra water in there. That's a lot of energy expelled, and if you're running multiple calls in a day, it's so much easier on the crew. Today's not bad. The temperature's, you know, a bit above freezing, and we're not talking 110 degree out in the middle of summer on your average run that the crew is going to have to go to a structure fire.
Captain Hutchinson, any other thoughts and advice before we close for firefighters considering this technology?
Yeah, I've put a lot of thought in this, and one of my specialties that I do is interface firefighting, and I know we get our butts handed to us on a silver platter when Mother Nature really cranks up the fires, and I see this as a tool that a single engine company can get in on a room and content fire, knock the fire down, do a little bit of mop up from the outside, not having to use hundreds of gallons of water. We're using tens of gallons of water. Call in a dispatch, let them know the address, and a second engine company can come in when there's time and when there's crews available. That might make the difference of losing, instead of a couple hundred houses, it might be 10 or 20 houses. I don't know yet, but I see it as being a huge advantage for us.
Captain Hutchinson, thank you for the demonstration. Thank you for your advice. Thank you for your service, and be safe.
Thank you.